welcome back everyone, welcome back to Game 5 in this affectionately labelled Best of 11 series between TyRanT BacT or BacT and Lix. So without further ado, let's unpause the game and rock off into it. So welcome back everyone, Game 5, this is it's been an exciting series so far. As you can see up the top, the score is 2-all to both of these players. So both players having taken 2 games from the other so far. And now we come back into the game here. We'll turn team colours on because orange, the colour that BacT normally likes to play in, is a little bit difficult to see, unfortunately. And here we have another matchup on Arabia, and this time we have a Mongols mirror matchup. So Mongols on Arabia pretty much going to be played, at least in the start, the same way that a Hun War would be played, in that both players are probably going to utilize the fact that the Mongols have a fantastic scout rush, and we're probably going to be seeing some feudal age aggression here in the form of scouts. But let's have a quick look at the maps and reintroduce the players here, because sometimes a map could dictate that a different strategy might be seen in the game. So over here in the western corner, playing in the blue trunks, the player 1 color blue, we do have Lix, and as I mentioned, he is playing as the Mongols today. And his opponent today, playing in the red trunks, is TyRanT BacT or BacT, or however you'd like to pronounce his name. and he is also playing as the Mongol. So we do have a Mongol mirror matchup here on Arabia. Now let's have a quick look at the maps here. Looking at BacT's map, he has a gold out here toward the back of his base. He's got blackberries, which is nice for him. His main gold as well, sitting at the back of his base here. It is on a hill. A little bit unfortunate for him, but with some fancy, or not even fancy, with some pretty simple walling, he can close this area of his map off quite comfortably, which will keep him nice and safe from any sort of scout rushes that we might be seeing. He's got a nice lumber line here too, toward the back of his base. It is on a hill, granted, so any towers that might pop up from behind this wood line from Lix could definitely zone BacT off this wood line here, but it is quite close to the town center, so he won't be losing any villages, most probably in the transit between running away from the lumber camp and getting back to the town center. So he should be pretty happy with that. His stone piles are out on the front of his base. Now that's going to be a bit of a problem, because normally for the Mongols, what we see is we see Mangudai, because the Mangudai are just such fantastic unit. A little bit arduous and a little bit slow to get up and running, owing to the fact that they do have so many upgrades. Just an absolute crap ton of upgrades that they need to be able to fully upgrade them. But obviously Mangudai coming out of castles, and the stone here, gonna need that to build the castles, right? So BacT a little bit unfortunate in his castle, in the stone placement there, but to try and remedy that fact, he is stealing a boar off Lix, as well as nabbing 2 sheep. Now a boar steal as a Mongols war is absolutely huge. I was mentioning just before that we're sort of expecting to see a scout rush, right? Owing to the fact that the Mongols just can completely gobble the hunt, like boar and deer, just so quickly, 50% quicker than any other civilization. And Lix managing to steal a sheep back, actually, so well done him. And he might even cross paths with these sheep here and send a scout over there to grab them back. But as I was saying, grabbing an extra boar as the Mongols is going to be so huge for BacT. I'm pretty sure he won't even mind that he's losing 1 sheep, as long as he can grab these 2 sheep back off Lix, as well as this boar that he's managing to grab. And he's already got 1 boar underneath the town center, and you can see he's already eaten another one as well. So he's going to be in a really nice position as far as the early game goes for him. Heading over and looking at Lix's map, though, Lix's map does not look as nice as BacT's at all. He does have this front gold. It's not his main gold, so that's not too bad. His main gold, I believe, was, back here at the back of his base, flush up against the edge of the map, so it's going to be pretty safe, but it's also going to be hard to get full saturation on that, which is going to be a little bit unfortunate for him. His wood lines are a little bit sparse and not too nice either, to be honest with you. He's got a nice solid wood line out here, but that's toward the front of his base and also on a hill, so he's opted to go for this wood line out here toward the left-hand side of his base. It's definitely not as nice, and it's at the top of a hill though, so at least any towers that come up is not going to get any sort of hill bonus against the villagers immediately, but as the villagers do run away down this hill, they're going to be fine. He's going to find Lix, that is going to find that he's going to have hill bonus acting against him there. He could also just relocate all the way back here where there's a vast forest, and he should be fine there as well. He does have a back stone, which is nice for him, and he's got another stone here, which is in an arguably better position than BacT's. So overall, I would still say that BacT has the advantage in the early game, owing to the fact that he's managing to lure in a deer as well as stealing one of Lix's boar, and we can see he's already up to the feudal age, even clicking up on 20 population with 19 villages. Lightning fast, heading out here to build a barracks, I would say, and Lix heading out to the front of his base to try and mill these deer, just to try and nullify the fact that he did have one of his boar stolen by BacT. But BacT continuing rather to lure in these deer to try and give himself a nice supplement, a nice food boost to his economy, such that he can pump out those scouts when he gets into the feudal age, which I can only imagine is what we're going to be seeing once he does advance. Lix still not up, and it's going to be interesting to see with -2 sheep and also minus a boar how he's going to handle this. He can note that's BacT's point of view. He can nearly click up to the feudal age, but it's not going to be a fast uptime at all. And in fact, he's quite far behind, so he's had to idle his town center just in terms of the fact that he's had a little bit of a deficit of food. But BacT up into the feudal age now. And let's see what he's going for. Yep, a stable coming up straight away, and why not? We saw before that he's got nigh on 500 food, or 450 food, sitting in the bank, splitting his lumber camps as well, not having to seed any farms, and he's still got so much food sitting underneath his town centre, as well as these deer that he's pushing in. So he is going to be in a fantastic position in the early game here, as Lix clicks up to the feudal age now, and BacT just getting loom, so BacT went up without loom as well. I suppose he figured, well, my opponent is going to be locked up inside his base for quite some time, so I'll be in an okay position to grab loom a little bit later. And if BacT pushes out and actually finds these deer, he can see a dead deer body there. So he might be thinking, oh, maybe Lix is taking some deer up to the front of his base, and that's going to be a really, really nice position for BacT to push into and get probably 4 villager picks, to be honest with you. There's not going to be much that Lix could do to stop this. He's not in the feudal age yet, so there's not going to be any defensive spearmen or anything like that. He is deciding to wall up a little bit back at home to keep himself safe, which is definitely a viable option, especially when you're this far behind, and getting a nice few pot shots on Lix's scout is BacT, but Lix also fighting back, and I think this is going to go in BacT's favour, owing to the fact that he does get that extra 2 attack once he reaches the feudal age. It's going to be tight, and yeah, BacT comes out on top with 8 HP. Lix now moving his villagers away from the front lines here where they were taking deer. Obviously the deer's already been taken, and BacT spotting that just a little bit too late to take advantage of it, but he can move in here and potentially deny or slow down this barracks. Ducking, dodging, dipping, diving, just seeing if he can get Lix, seeing if he can bait Lix to attack his scouts, but he can't. The barracks goes up, and Lix now up into the feudal age, and I can imagine we'll be seeing a defensive spearman pop out very, very soon to be able to combat against these pesky scouts that are going to be running rampant through his base. Back at home, BacT walling up quite considerably. He's keeping himself nice and safe out here on the right-hand side of his base. There is not going to be any way for Lix to push in there. So BacT is going to be nice and safe, and he's going to know that any aggression is going to have to come in through this left-hand side of his base, so he can focus most of his defense there. Coming forward with an aggressive spearman as well. Always a nice aggressive move here, just to try and get a few pot shots on any defensive spearman that your opponent does decide to put out to battle against your scouts. And even here, he's going to get taken down. The spearman will get taken down by the villagers, but creating a bit of idle time and idling the berry or the food income for Lix, especially since Lix is already so far behind in terms of food, economy. That is just a very, very classy move from BacT, in my opinion. Lix doing the right thing though, trying to create a bit of a funnel towards his town centre, trying to get a few pot shots on these scouts from BacT as he runs through. But what is Lix actually going to do? Because it looks like, oh, he is going to go for a stable. He deleted his stable before, so I wasn't really sure what he was planning on doing. He's moved out here as well, relocated, or put his second lumber line out here toward the right-hand side of his base to keep his wood income more or less safe. And can BacT is going to dip in here. He's not going to get any bait going on there. Lix is getting the stable up nice and quick. With Wheelbarrow coming in for BacT as well, his economy back at home is just going to be rolling, 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 and completely snowballing. We can already see that, oh, actually, Lix is a villager ahead, which surprises me somewhat. I'm not sure how that has actually happened. BacT may be idling his town centre in favour of getting some upgrades and what have you, but he's also splitting his scouts really, really nicely here, drawing the spearmen from Lix away here so that he can get into the wood line of Lix unhindered and create a little bit of idle time and do a bit of damage to Lix's economy. Nice scout micro here, pulling out the weak scouts just to see if he can get any villager picks. No villagers having gone down for Lix so far, but a couple of extra hits on the scout from the spearman here by Lix means that he's going to be in a good position to push away these weak, these very low HP scouts, especially since he's now just pretty much walled BacT into his base, at least at the front of his base here. BacT, no, I take that back. BacT is completely walled into Lix. Yep, BacT is completely walled up into Lix's economy, so there's no way that these scouts are going to be able to get out alive. So he may as well buzz around inside of Lix's base and try and do as much damage as he can. Lix now moving out to gold with quite a few low HP villagers here actually, but in saying that, these scouts also on remarkably low health, so they're not going to be able to do anything in terms of picking off villagers, and we can already see that the scouts from BacT are getting cleaned up pretty comfortably inside of Lix's economy. But BacT clicking up to the castle age in a very, very nice time. It looks like he's foregoing archery ranges, so he's not following up the scout rush with archers. It looks like he's going to be going down the knight route. He hasn't moved out to stone yet from anywhere that I can see. Wheelbarrow now coming in for Lix as well, just to give his economy a little bit of a boost. But it looks like BacT is going to be going for knights. Was researching bloodlines and now having cancelled that, or maybe it had just finished. Let's have a quick look. No bloodlines coming in for BacT, so it looks like he cancelled that upgrade pretty quick. Smart. Switch over to his point of view and see if we can figure out what he's going to be going for here. Gold mining coming in. He does have quite a few, or not enough villagers to keep knights coming out. He's walling himself up nice and safe, so he's going to be in a good position here to be able to pump out some knights and really put the pressure on Lix even more than he already has. A tower here would be really, really nice from BacT as well, but I guess he doesn't want to use his 125 stone. He wants to keep himself. He wants to keep that stone for extra town centers, and yeah, there we go. Another stable coming up now for BacT. So BacT is going to be going for knights in the castle age. Lix now pushing out across the map, seeing what damage he can maybe do inside BacT's economy, but he's going to find that his opponent, just like him, is completely walled up. There's not going to be any getting into BacT's economy. BacT is going to be nice and safe as he advances up to the castle age here. Forging coming in now as well. +1 attack. +1 attack on his cavalry and infantry units here. BacT is now, oh, this could be really, really brutal for BacT. He's got a couple of scouts here that are going to be able to find these villages that are moving forward. Yeah, Lix is aware. Lix is very well aware, and he's going to be able to come in here and at the very least see that these villagers were pushing forward, maybe wanting to build a forward siege workshop or something along those lines to put a heck of a lot of pressure on putting a lot of pressure sorry about that, putting a lot of pressure on his opponent here. Knights pumping out now from 2 stables from BacT. 2 knights queued up inside each of these stables, but it's a lot of spearmen. It's not going to be a cost-effective fight for BacT. He will be able to maybe take the fight, but in saying that, no, okay, 4 spearmen, apparently too much to deal with for knights that do not have +1 defense or bloodlines at this point in time. A monastery now coming up for BacT as well, so maybe looking to get some conversions on some villages inside of Lix's economy. But Lix is up to the castle age now as well. Bosaw coming in now for BacT as well. And back at home we can see another stable being thrown up for Lix, so I can imagine we're going to be seeing some defensive camels popping out of those stables once Lix does advance to the castle age. The knights from BacT now pushing out across the map, still no +1 defense having been done, no bloodlines forging having been done as we saw before, giving them that extra little bit of a buff to their attack, but it's not going to be too easy to get in here and do any damage against Lix's economy, owing to the fact that he has got walls. They're only palisade walls, and they do go down pretty quickly, but they do act as a nice alarm system for Licks to be able to wall up behind them when BacT does start to attack them. But a forward siege workshop, this is what we wanted to see. This is the aggressive play that we wanted to see from BacT. Knights, siege, and monks. It looks like he's going to be sticking on one town center for quite a while, it seems. So maybe that tower could have been a nice addition to this forward earlier on, but a tower's not. Oh, I suppose a tower could hit his woodline. Could hit Lix's woodline if he did put it here. But for the time being, we're going to be seeing a forward siege workshop and monk push coming in here from BacT, and a blacksmith coming up for Lix now as he advances into the castle age bloodlines having been researched. And let's quickly switch over to his point of view. Lix, where are you, son? There we go. Lix, in your stables, we've got some camels coming out to act as a nice defensive stature against the knights that are inevitably going to make their way into Lix's economy. There's only so much space that he can wall backwards with these palisade walls that the villagers are throwing down. But BacT doing the right thing here, splitting his army, sending another couple of knights out to the left-hand side of Lix's economy, and eventually, like I said, BacT is going to get inside Lix's base here. He's only going to be met with camels though, which have +1 defense and bloodlines. So the monks are going to come into play there, maybe getting some conversions on those camels, the defensive camels for Lix. But for the time being, BacT has got a couple of knights inside of Lix's economy, and Lix losing a villager there. BacT's economic lead starting to pull ahead just a little bit, but he is not throwing up any extra town centers, whereas Lix is throwing up 2 extra town centers right off the bat. So economically speaking, this push is really going to have to make itself work for BacT, or the longer this game goes on, the worse position in terms of economy BacT is going to find himself in. And oh, Lix, you clutch man, fantastic walling there. These knights, again, just like the scouts from BacT that we saw at the beginning of the game, or in the early feudal age rather, are going to find themselves trapped up inside of Lix's economy here, and they will get taken down eventually. But over here on the right hand side, another town center coming up for BacT now, so maybe not looking as dire situation as we first had anticipated in terms of economy. But that's a lot of camels. That is a lot of camels, and BacT does not want to take any fights against them because that's not going to work out well for him at all. Obviously, camels, fantastic counter to any cavalry units. BacT still trying to push his way in here. He is going to find his way in eventually, and in fact, I think he just has. Yep, he just has found his way in now as well. Siege Workshop being thrown up in defense for Lix, reminiscent of the Saracen game that we saw previously, where I believe it was Lix pushing in on the top of a hill into BacT's economy. Now we have... Was it the other way around? I can't remember anymore, it was too long ago. And now we have BacT pushing in on the top of a hill into Lix's economy. It'll be interesting to see how well Lix can defend here. Defensive Siege Workshop is going to do wonders against any siege that does push in from BacT, and the camels obviously acting as a fantastic defensive unit against the knights. But with backed up with monks, or the monks that BacT has here, a couple of conversions can definitely sway the course of this battle here. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how well this one plays out for either player here. In terms of upgrades, +1 defense having been done for BacT as well for Lix, but still no bloodlines for BacT. And this could be a really, really nice maneuver actually. I'm not sure whether Lix is going to waltz his way around the back to surprise BacT in terms of getting a hill advantage pushing down into him, but BacT must sense that something's up. No, okay, Lix is just going to go back. I thought it might have been a nice little flank maneuver there for Lix having been able to move around and down against these units here from BacT, but it is not to be. A second monastery now being thrown up for for Lix even as well. A little bit of a mango tango coming in here, but that hill bonus working wonders for BacT. And oh, in saying that, Lix is, well, the mangonel is going to go down to the knights, but Lix did survive the mango tango, which is all well and good for him. Camels still being pumped out thick and fast from Lix here inside of his own economy. This town centre is pretty much a goner. 2 mangonels with a hill bonus firing upon it. That is not a fight that BacT is going to be able to lose anytime soon. And now the big engagement as well. Huge engagement. Well, not huge, but almost a game-deciding engagement coming in here on this hill of Lix's economy. It looks like BacT is going to be able to take that one quite convincingly. And yeah, Lix is recognising the situation and calling GG. Whew. So there we have it. I think that game was not decided, but tipped very, very heavily in favour of BacT once he managed to steal 2 sheep from Lix as well as a boar. I think the boar was the big thing. It just set Lix back so much. Lix too slow to the castle age, to the feudal age, and therefore the castle age as well. And his map wasn't really doing him any favours out here on this right-hand side with the hill that he had to try and defend against. And BacT, recognising the situation well, recognizing that he could easily push into his opponent using the hill advantage out here on the right hand side with some siege and monks. And he's played that game very, very well. So well played to BacT and well attempted, I guess we can say, from Lix. A very, very nice attempt at defense. But in the end, it was just too much bloodlines kicking in just at the end there as well for BacT. So well played to BacT. And I believe that makes it 3-2 to BacT in this best of 11 series. So I'll shut it off here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.